My name is Dramos. And this is how I find work-life balance and don't burn out. Cue the vlog.
Pero like, Dramos made it.
My name is Dramos, and I'm probably best known as the dude that sits next to DJ Envy on The Breakfast Club. And while that's been a dream come true, if we're being real, I'm also so much more than just that. I'm a DJ, a music producer, a TV personality, a radio and podcast host, but more importantly, I'm just a man taking life day by day, trying to make the best of it, while hopefully making this world a better place. And who knows, maybe my story will inspire some of y'all to do the same.
Two bottles of that Clico bad shit, trying to hit it like a free throw, got him saying, Bobby just can't do it, that perico. I'm about to hit him off with them Cinos, got him saying, hey yo, Dramos, this shit finna blow up right here. Yo, yeah, why? Dime grande.
Alright, so if y'all recall last episode, my studio was a hot mess, and I just want to bask in the glory of the progress that's being made at my house. So check this out. Thank you to my wonderful girlfriend, who apparently is just like a master organizer. It's not perfect, it's not ready for, you know, the full-on studio tour, but maybe I'll flash back to what it looked like before. Don't mind my studio, still a disaster. Alright, so this whole idea of finding like a healthy work-life balance, you know, being able to take breaks and take rest and just be there for yourself, both mentally and physically, this is all brand new to me. Because for the last, I don't know, man, 10 years, in some way, shape, or form, even before I was getting paid to do so, my life revolved around trying to make things happen, right? So I was basically, from the time I got up in the morning to the time I went to bed, just working on different creative projects that were hopefully, you know, contributing towards my goals. And obviously, I'm in a position today where a lot of that stuff has paid dividends. But along the way, man, I've definitely put a lot of miles on my body. I've also gone through some different breakdowns when it comes to my mental health. And it's a result of not being able to find the balance of hustling and really working hard for the things you want, but also taking time for yourself and giving yourself the rest needed to keep on pushing. Like when I started trying to really put the pieces of the puzzle together for myself, I began to realize that, you know, the moments where I'm feeling depressed or super anxious are oftentimes when I'm feeling just exhausted. That's something that I have to be mindful of if I want to live a happy and fulfilled life. Now, I didn't start realizing all this, and I didn't realize what I was doing to myself until like 2018, right? And that was my first full year with the Breakfast Club. But that was also a year where like I was just mentally burnt out, like done. Like I was depressed, you know what I mean? I was having financially the best year of my life, but I was so tired. There's no other way to put it. I was just tired in every way you could possibly think of. Nothing was fun to me anymore. And I just ended that year, you know, and was going into the new year feeling genuinely just sad, tired, all of the above. I mean, let me just give you a rundown of what my schedule was like back then. So when I was making the transition into the Breakfast Club, I still had to hold on to my other radio job, which was midnight to 6 a.m. overnights. So I would literally go midnight to 6 a.m. at the one radio station, do the Breakfast Club from 6 a.m. to about 10 a.m. I would go home, eat lunch, take a nap, and then I had to drive to one of my other radio jobs where I was on air in Connecticut, which was about an hour and a half, 2-hour drive depending on traffic. And I would do radio, I think it was from like 3 to 7 p.m. And I would leave there, and a lot of times I would end up just going straight back to the radio station in New York, sleep on a couch somewhere, wake up through that midnight shift, and do it all over again the next day. On top of that, I was DJing every single Friday and Saturday night, sometimes even Thursdays, and then at times I was even back on the radio in Connecticut on Sundays. So my schedule was absolutely insane and ridiculously unhealthy. I was so tired. I was probably averaging about 3 hours of sleep a night, if that. And at the end of that year, it really woke me up to the fact that something had to change. And I needed to figure out a way to let go of trying to do so much and get a hold on my depression and anxiety that was being caused by being overworked. and not having a life outside of work. This is when I began to go back to therapy and really trying to shift my mindset of not making myself feel guilty for taking some time to myself, because that was a lot of my problem. Was I would guilt myself. If I took a half hour to just relax on the couch, I would guilt myself into being like, yo, you could be doing something else to be bettering your career. And that was a toxic mindset. But I'm grateful for that year, because that experience woke me up on how to prioritize the things in my life. And I'm not perfect at this. I still take on a lot more than I should at times, but at least I'm mindful of it. And the days or the weeks that become super heavy, I try and make up for that in the same way of giving myself some time off to relax or do things that make me happy. Like this whole idea of nobody cares, work harder. Yeah, that sounds good on social media, but when you actually live that lifestyle, you're heading down a place of burnout. And while you may be on paper putting in the hours and putting in the work, the reality is I can almost guarantee that the work you're producing is probably shit. It was for me. Like, I was burnt the hell out. So when I was at the radio station, I was messing up a lot. I wasn't fully present, you know, when I was DJing, all these different things, because I was just exhausted. I was just there going through the motions. And one of the more difficult things for me that I've had to learn over the last few years, as my hobby became my job, because music originally started out for me when I was younger as a hobby. It was my escape from the world. It now became my job, something I had to do every week. And that in itself, man, will mess up your mind, because it's like the one thing you were doing that was keeping you sane, that was like my therapy each and every week. That's now what I'm getting paid to do. So now, where do I have my release? I also had to force myself to find new hobbies. So you see me talking a lot about vintage furniture and clothing and all these different things. That has become my new hobby. That is my new release that I get to have fun with. And now having this house, all these different things that go along with maintaining a house and decorating it. Plants, man. Plants have become my hobby. Like me 3 years ago, probably laughed at current me talking about how much he loves plants. Can't be work, work, work all the time. Forget whatever these dumb Instagram quotes or your favorite inspirational speaker on YouTube is telling you about not sleeping till you're dead. Nah. You keep subscribing to that mindset of you'll sleep when you're dead, and I promise you, sadly, you will be dead a lot sooner than you think.
Bendita mujer, dime qué es lo que tú quieres hacer, que esta noche te voy a complacer. Si tú quieres nos vamos para el hotel y allá sazonamos hasta el amanecer. Lo que tú a mí me pidas te lo doy. Oye mami, te prendo en calor. Si tú quieres que te come ese cozón, no le pare, aquí tengo el sazón.
Down, everybody calm down. Shh. Alright, so anybody's been following me for a minute now, you know my obsession with vintage clothing, and it's now grown into vintage furniture, vintage anything, antiques, whatever the case would be, all kinds of stuff in my house, especially now these days. Oh, you're playing music.
I think that's outside.
Okay. And it goes beyond just like the idea of having something cool. It's the hunt, it's the nostalgia that comes along with it. It's like the surprise of finding something really random that you fall in love with and something unique to you. So today we're going to one of my favorite spots. It is the Elephant's Trunk Flea Market in Danbury, Connecticut. I'm gonna see if I can find some random cool artifacts and antiques for my house. And honestly, this just brings me so much joy, so much happiness. So this is a part of my whole work-life balance, is taking advantage of these weekends, especially now it's getting nice out over here on the East Coast, and just doing something that I enjoy and getting lost in it for a few hours before the work week starts. So that's what we're doing today. So the flea market was a success in Connecticut. I didn't get anything too fancy this time around, but I went there with like a specific list of stuff that I was looking for, and I found it. It might not be that impressive to certain people, but to me it's really cool. I'll give you a little quick tour of the stuff that I got at the flea market this weekend. So I've been looking for, let me move this, a chair just like this, a mid-century modern chair. I have a typewriter in my studio that I plan on using a bunch. I've been looking for a little chair for that. I still gotta clean it up, but this thing is super dope. I got it for like 30 bucks, which is crazy. This right here is a 1920s piano stool.
The height adjust that has crystal on the legs. I don't know if you can see it. This thing is really cool, from the 1920s. And then this is just... And this is just simple stuff right here, but I was looking for a pot for my flowers. Y'all know I've become big on flowers these days. So I was looking for a cool pot, and this is like a vintage teapot that I'm gonna use to water my stuff. I know this all seems really silly, but oh, and then I found this one already put in this really dope ceramic pot. Matches a lot of the furniture in my living room. I'll do a full-on like house tour, studio tour, all that good stuff once I get everything situated and set up. But little things like that, man, it brings me joy. Like the little things that I love doing, and being able to take time on the weekends. Having the time now is to take on the weekends, which I never had before when I was out DJing all the time and hustling, you know, every single day of the week. It felt like I never had the time to do these little things. I would like fantasize about going to some of these flea markets and doing all that kind of stuff. And now I'm like truly purposely making out the time, carving out the time, taking days off to do this kind of stuff. And that's all about that like work-life balance. Things that I enjoy, man. We all got little dumb things that are kind of nerdy that we all enjoy. Makes you super present, I feel like, too. When you're out there just like looking for something cool, it might be buried under a whole bunch of other stuff, or you're finding stuff that you have to be creative on how you're gonna use it. It's just a really fun way to be present and get away from it all, kind of feels like, for a little bit, you know?
That's sauce for you, saucing all over you. Adobo sofrito, ooh, tasty as fuck for you, ooh. I got that sauce for you, saucing all over you. Adobo sofrito, ooh. Tasty as fuck for you, ooh, ooh.
Oh yeah. Alright, so last thing I'm gonna leave you with here as we talk about, you know, burnout, avoiding it, getting a better work-life balance, all of the above. I'm gonna leave you with one of the best tips that I got. It really revolves around creating a routine for yourself, you know? So my therapist suggested having a time that I kind of try to stick to as firmly as humanly possible, that I say, okay, I'm turning everything off. No more working from this time on. I turn everything off at a specific time and unwind, and then essentially get ready for bed. So for me, it's been 8 p.m. is my cutoff. I stop working at 8 p.m. and I allow myself to unwind from the day. Part of that routine is my milk and cookies, because I'm just a big kid, let's be honest here. But also, I think the kid inside of us is onto something. They know how to have fun. So that's what I do. 8 p.m., I turn everything off. I get my milk and cookies. I pick up a book. I read. And this whole routine probably lasts about an hour or so. But it helps me mentally take a break from everything I've been working on and rest up for the next day. And I guess the general idea of all of this, of what we're talking about, is allowing space for the things that you enjoy, the things you love, and also setting boundaries for yourself when it comes to your work, especially if you're a creative who doesn't have a set schedule, or you're somebody who's working a 9 to 5 and then doing a side hustle when you get home. And you have to get good at setting boundaries for yourself. Now don't get me wrong, there are nights where I have a lot going on, I just have to keep working, but generally I try to stick to this routine to protect myself, and most importantly, respect myself, because setting a boundary is the ultimate respect for oneself. So just keep that in mind, set those boundaries for yourself, and just remember, we weren't put here on this earth to live to work. We're supposed to enjoy this life just a little bit. Well, I'm a big proponent of hard work and putting in the time and effort. That doesn't mean at the expense of your health. A healthy body, a healthy mind will always yield the best results. So just keep that at the forefront of your mind as you go out there hustling each and every day. Make sure you take some time to stop, appreciate life, and take care of yourself. That's what's most important in this world. Because all the money in this world, all the success, all the fame, the notoriety, it don't mean shit if you're depressed, sick, or even worse off, dead. So do yourself a favor, take care of yourself, please. With that said, thank y'all so much for tuning in to these vlogs, man. I'm having so much fun putting them out there. Hope you guys are getting something out of this, man. If you want to hear something specific, you want to hear me tackle or talk about a specific topic, make a video about it, just leave it in the comments. I read all the comments. I try to reply to all the comments. Y'all been showing me so much love on that first vlog, so I appreciate you. As always, like, subscribe, comment, share, all that good stuff. It really does help. I'm seeing it from all the comments that are coming in, all the likes and everything, that like the algorithm on YouTube is picking up these videos and this content, man. It's just absolutely incredible. Man, I'll catch y'all next week, man. We try to do 2 of these videos a week, man. So that's my promise. I'm gonna keep doing that for a while now. And I'll catch y'all next week.